Hello and welcome to Nights at the Hobby Table. I'm your host Blake, here with Odorous Oblerone. How the fuck are you, bro?
Well, I'm not stinky, that's for sure. I took a shower, dingus.
I'm just coming up with adjectives with Odorous. It's good fun. I'm learning English. How are you, man?
What does odorous mean?
Odorous means you stink.
Ah, but I don't, because I shower. Like a human.
There's no proof of that.
I am human, after all.
Until you start Oberly fans for the guys, there'll be no proof that you showered.
Honestly, there was okay. I'll give a quick story. My girlfriend was hobbying with me this weekend, and of course, Shamelad was in the chat, and he was like,
"Oh, no.
oh, have you told her about the Obi fans?" And she's like, "Obi fans? Yeah, I'm like your biggest fan." I was like, that's not really quite what he means, though. So like, what does it mean? It's like, do you know what OnlyFans are? And she's like, nope.
Oh
no,
sweet innocent girl. Keep her off her Discord. She's too kind for this place.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, dude.
That's funny. Nice. Awesome. Well, today, before we get into our normal banter, I thought that we would have a chat about collecting for the Nintendo 64. You know me, I'm always out of the game with the retro games and whatnot. So I just thought, this would be fun. Sort of a follow-up to our Game Boy Color episode.
Exactly.
So how you been? What's going on, Obi? I'm sure you got lots going on.
Not lots, but I've finished a lot, and I've had a really good weekend. Some of you might know that my girlfriend had her birthday last week. I
did. I said to her happy birthday.
Correct, and she appreciated that.
I'm her favourite Australian. Just deal with it,
guys. Besides Anxious, of course.
My bad. Yeah, of course.
Sorry.
Well, Anxious is just stealing everyone's GFs and wives. It's not fair.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how she does it. She's like a chick magnet.
Yeah.
But either way, I gave her a painted miniature of herself. And she totally loved that one. So much that she got inspired to do a diorama for it.
Oh, cool, man.
So she's going to make a tree, like a really old tree that's like twisted in together. So
yeah, like a gnarled oak or something.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the reason why she was sitting next to me and hobbying this weekend. So.
Oh man, you guys are gonna turn into like Nerd Forge.
Yeah, like, and I was like, oh, you know what would be really cool if you put like an LED in the middle of the trunk and like have a crystal. It's like, yeah, it would be so cool. Yeah, we're bouncing off all each other.
How did you get the miniature done up? Did you go through like Hero Forge or something like that, or?
Exactly. I've used Hero Forge. They have like really a lot of presets, and she's like very plant interested, so I thought, okay, they have an outfit actually with a lot of leaves on it and stuff like that, and then they had like dreadlock hair, and I just gave it like a custom pose, like she's holding up a piece of apple or like looking at a leaf or whatever. So
yeah, because as much as you're a standard elf with your knife edge, your missus is basically a wood elf, right? Like, she's as close as a human would get to a wood elf. She just loves trees.
Yeah, it's very much into nature. So I thought that one would have been really perfect. I don't think any Warhammer miniatures would have done nicely.
Yeah.
So that's why I made a custom one. And
I think that's so much cooler though. Anyway, like just get There's only one of them then. One of one,
Well, there's actually two. I had two printed up, but.
Just in case.
I still have, just in case I didn't like the first one, so. Cool. Yeah, and besides that, I finished up my Redemptor yesterday, sorry.
Oh.
and it's been a little bit of a hassle, to be honest.
It's been arduous for you. I've watched you struggle.
Yeah, like, even with clear coats, I still rubbed off the paint. And I was pretty much done with it yesterday. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go the extra mile and I'm gonna put some transfers on it as well. So I clear coated like 2 coats of gloss and 1 coat of satin. Then I put on the transfers, and while I was putting on one of the transfers, I still managed to rub through the paint.
That's insane, man. Because, like,
Yeah.
did 1 coat of satin finish on my Redemptor. No issues.
Yeah.
None.
That's so weird.
I don't know, man. I blame Sweden shenanigans.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just painted it up as battle damage and clear coated it a couple of times again, so it would be
That's exactly what I would have done.
Conform it a little bit more. So yeah, I'm gonna take pictures of that pretty soonish and chug it up on some of the socials.
Yeah, exactly. Keep an eye out on Facebook. I'll put that up for sure.
Hell yeah.
Not that we're social media people, but
Yeah.
we'll be out there. We'll make its way there.
I'm struggling with it too, but I'll try. There's a couple of cool things that we've given our Patreons that I kind of want to post a couple of pictures of as well. So,
yeah, it's very exciting times.
Yeah, especially to be a Patreon. So.
Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, for sure. And as far as the social media goes, I'd rather actually just hang out with our Discord friends.
Correct.
And actually produce quality content than spend our time on social media rotting our brains. So that's why we don't really engage with it too much. We're happy to hang out with anyone that listens to our podcast. We're just not social media people. We're busy people.
So, besides hobbying, finishing the Redemptor, having my missus next to me, I've also ran a watch party for some Warhammer Plus content yesterday, so...
Oh, dude, I saw that. I was so bummed that I was busy. I was like, nah.
Yeah, so if you want more of that kind of stuff, join us on our Discord. And,
that's right. Get to see his painting as well. I'm usually in my underwear, you just can't see it, so...
Exactly.
It's hot, man, it's hot.
I've kind of planned together a Custodes paint off as well. So if you guys want to join in with us painting, or
once my airbrush is fixed, man, and I strip these fucking models, I'm in. We're doing it. I've chosen my host and everything. I'm doing the purple ones. I don't know what they're called off the top of my head. But they got no, they're something shields. Hold up, I'll pull it up for you.
Equivalent shields.
That might be them. Yeah, equivalent shields. So they're gold with purple.
Yeah,
like a podcast I know. So yeah, it's gonna be cool. We're very excited. You know.
Yeah. So enough about me. What have you been doing? Because you had a couple of busy days.
Man. So I've been actually really busy with hobby. For once, everyone will be happy to know that I've returned to painting Warhammer once more. At a breakneck speed, actually. I think you were shocked at how fast I painted up those 4 or 5 models.
Yeah.
I did 5 in 2 weeks, in 2 sessions, which is huge for me.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing no slap chop painting either. Like, I'm doing proper volumetric highlights and stuff like that with my grayscales. It's pretty tricky. So, but it's just getting used to the systems again, getting quick at them again. And to be honest, I'm really sick of the models that they're on. They're the infiltrators. So I'm just going at it with no fear of ruining them and just doing it. And I'm getting better because of it. So that's great. But basically I moved my hobby desk and my computer desk and all that into one room. So now I just have this mad hobby space going on. It's not all the way there yet. I got some tidying to do and some shelves and stuff to put up, but it's definitely getting there. It's good to have everything in one space. I can hang out with the people on Discord while I paint. It's beautiful. So we got that. Also, been moving my girlfriend's stuff into my place. So that's a huge step. But yeah, that's great. She's a nice chick. But today was the day. Today was arduous. So you know this though because I've been texting you throughout it.
Yeah.
I was trying to fall asleep. I jumped in bed at 1 a.m. Now I'm someone that passes the fuck out once I go to bed. Nah. My body did not allow me to sleep until about 5:30 this morning. I then woke up, or yesterday morning I should say. I then woke up at 9 a.m. in 36 degree heat with no sleeves on my shirt. We moved houses for my girlfriend today. I am red as a fucking lobster. I'm dehydrated as a motherfucker. I've had about 4 hours sleep. Now, that was cool. I got to hang out with a certain cousin of mine that's in witness protection for the day. That was really mad. That was fine. We got it all here. It's looking amazing. I actually have some news in regards to some other projects soon because of that. But then we're hanging out after dinner. You know, I'm trying to watch Chainsaw Man and just relax. And Danny, my dog, starts freaking out about how itchy her ears are. Like, she has floppy ears, so they get itchy on it. It happens. But this time it was like really bad to the point where she was getting anxious. And they were all gunky and gross. And I was like, right, you need to go to the vets. So, midnight, we drive to the fucking emergency vets. And $500 later, she's got an ear infection, the poor darling, which we're sorting out. She's got all the good stuff for it. She's stoned off her face sleeping right now, and I'm still fucking not. So, it's now 3 a.m. the next day. So I've been up for a very long time.
And will probably be for a little while longer.
Yeah. But hey, that's the grind. But no, what's really cool is in my living room, I have a really big living room, but I have this massive hulking couch. Like, it had a chase, then a single seat, then it had another a corner seat, 2 more seats, and a recliner. Like, gigantic. And we took that to the dump today and threw it away, because it's about 5 years old. And now we're just going to have a 3-seater couch, and the whole layout of my lounge room has changed, which means that half of it is going to be, you know, my new 65-inch TV I'm going to get next year, with my PS5 that I'm getting soon. And then the other half of the lounge room is going to be a fish room.
Oh.
So we're getting those 400 kilogram per shelf racks that's going to hold up to 10 40-litre fish tanks per rack. We're hoping to get into fish breeding, but I'm also going to have room for my frog terrarium and my bearded dragon that I want to get. And it's going to be stellar. But I had this cool idea. That's going to be a huge project in and of itself, and I'll show you guys all those steps. But I had this idea. For a long time, I've wanted to make Helm's Deep in a fish tank. Coat it with silicone. But it's going to be a lot of work. So I came up with an alternative idea, which I think is going to be just as cool. I want to make a diorama of Erebor, like inside the mountain, to go in my bearded dragons area with like gold and stuff, like fake gold and that, for him to hang out in so he can be Smaug.
Yes, I love it.
Like, won't that be glorious?
Yeah, I love it.
You know, maybe put some LEDs and shit in there. That's an ultra long term thing, but I've been watching way too much Nerd Forge, so.
Ah, yes, the Nerd Forge. Yeah,
Yes.
I watch it with my missus too.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. But yeah, so that's what's going on. Besides that, doing fish stuff. My Oscar has fucking hole in the head disease, so that's a headache. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm very tired and I need a lobster nap.
I've actually seen some of Anxious tanks. She was walking around in her breeding room. My lord, she has so many tanks in there. It's amazing.
Yeah, so just for the record, me and Tara, we're going to be breeding fish, but nothing like what Anxious is doing. She does mostly catfish and stuff like that, whereas ours is going to be more so probably guppies and cichlids and things like that.
Okay.
Just a bit more our pace, so same but different, you know? But,
yeah. It'll be cool nonetheless.
Cool. Oh, dude, we're going to have plants and all that hanging everywhere. It's gonna be like my own. We're actually putting a little 2-person tea sitting area in there, so I can just grab a cup of coffee instead of being surrounded by tanks and animals. It's gonna be cool as fuck.
Hell yeah, looking forward to it.
Fuck yeah. Anyway, now on to today's episode.
Tell me, what is a Nintendo 64? Because N64 stands for Nintendo. No.
Yeah. Alright, so for the uninitiated, basically the Nintendo 64 is a gaming console by Nintendo from the 90s that succeeded the Super Nintendo, so it came just after it. It launched in 1996 in the US and Japan, and 1997 for pretty much everywhere else. Production stopped in 2002. It featured 16-bit graphics and was the console generation, like for Nintendo, that took the plunge into 3D graphics for the first time, like true 3D, not just like optical illusions, like actual 3D.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically it's a very cool console. The base console that you got, like the bone standard one, was grey. It came with 4 control ports and this really wacky looking controller that, like, the design could only come from the 90s.
Yeah.
That's the only place it could come from.
That's like my one biggest gripe with the N64. I never owned one, and my family never owned one before either. But I had the chance to play on one a couple of times.
What if I send you one?
An N64?
Yeah.
I don't know, no. Please, no. It's I don't know. I couldn't deal with the controls. Like, why would it have a joystick in the middle? It's like, how am I supposed to... I don't know. I couldn't hold it properly.
It was... Especially if you played a PlayStation at the same time, and you had... or even going from the Super Nintendo to that, they were very fucky.
Yeah, I had a Super Nintendo, actually.
Yeah, so the cool thing I've always liked about Nintendo is they do always push the envelope, and because of that, it is hit and miss. Like, some of their design features really work and they're still around, and some of them are just a complete miss, so they move away. But, without that, gaming wouldn't be where it is without them pushing forward. So, I love that shit. Yeah, so, today we're going to just have a bit of a chat about a few things with them. And the main one is, why would you collect these? What would you want with one? It's a, fucking nearly 30-year-old console, like 25-year-old console. What do you want with it?
Yeah. I don't really remember any of the particular games that stuck out, but I did remember playing a airplane game. Ace Combat, could it then be?
Pilot Wings. Probably. No?
No idea. That one was pretty cool though. But I kept flying into buildings, so
Did you ever play Star Wars Rogue Squadron?
No.
It was like basically a fighter jet game, but you were in Star Wars on the N64. It was mind blowing back then, man. Absolutely mind bending.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I can't recall. Yeah, there's
cool. So some sick things to start. One of the reasons, and my reason particularly, for why I love collecting for this console is the same reason as the Game Boy Color. It's because not only does it come in grey, which is whatever, but it comes in a whole heap of different colours, just like the Game Boy Color. Just for a quick rundown, you can get transparent. So all these are transparent for the first little bit here. Transparent green, transparent grape, purple, transparent orange, a watermelon coloured one, and even an ice blue one, and like a smoky coloured one. And that's just the start. They have Pokemon editions, where so there's one that only came out in Australia where it's a yellow on the bottom console, blue on top, with Pokemon stickers down the side. Yeah. As far as I know, it's an Aussie exclusive, and they're going for quite a bit. But they also did them in Japan and the US, where they're physically a bigger console, on one side, and it's because Pikachu's on there, like molded into the case, and his foot is actually the reset button. And they are cool as hell, man.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I have one of the rarer variants, and that is the Toys R Us exclusive gold one from the US. And I also have the see-through jungle green one at the moment. But my collection will be expanding, because it's, on the radar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you're done with the Game Boy Colors now, right?
I'm done with all the base set. So I have... What have I got? I've got Atomic Purple, Standard Purple, Dandelion, Kiwi Green, Berry. I've got Yellow. I think that's all the base. Oh, and Aqua. And I have the See-Through Crystal one. And I have the Pokemon Edition one. So I have 8 Game Boy Colors in total.
Yeah.
But cool. I really want a Hello Kitty one still. So yeah. It's a thing.
Hell yeah. Cool. Apparently, there is also a very cool collectible market for the controller colors. So I'm assuming that they match the consoles then?
Yeah, so they do match the consoles. And there are people that will pay top dollar for, especially for a box controller. Like, there are people that collect, each color that came corresponding with those consoles. They will collect just the boxed controller. And they'll pay a couple of $100 for a box controller.
Jesus.
Like, in its carton. The gold ones are quite rare and hard to find, though also the Pokemon ones are quite hard to find. So, yeah. And even, like, you can pick up a standard controller for, like, $30-$40 and nothing egregious, but you just gotta check the stick doesn't have too much wobble, because they get stick wobble. And if they do, you can replace them, but you should have a little bit of tech know-how, So that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically, they come in all different colours and shit. If you find a box controller at a garage sale or something like that, or even just you find a random controller for really cheap, like $5, just pick it up, man, because honestly, you'll probably make a bit of money on it even if you flip it. Like, if you find a controller and it all works, or it feels like it works, and you get a way to test it, you can sell that controller for $35. It's an easy $30, man, if you pick it up for cheap enough.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Another good one is the games came on cartridges. Now, these days, obviously, physical media is a lot more scarce, but collecting cartridges is fucking cool, man. Like, there's just something about it. I don't know, maybe I'm just nostalgic, but I love that shit. When you get them all stacked up in their boxes or VHS cases, you get the box art printed out for and shit. They're just real cool. And this console has some fucking banger games on it. So, it's worth collecting for, just for the quality of the games alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. These consoles, I'm guessing they're going into, like, they're above the curve a little bit still. Like, they're not quite there for, like, being, the Game Boy Colors are was cool for us back then. But at the N64 is, like, a little bit ahead of the curve, I would say. So the prices are still reasonable.
I think the thing about the N64 is, although it is pretty much right in that nostalgic curve that generally causes prices to rise, and they have risen, I think because of the fact that you need a TV that works with these to play on, or they look a bit dog shit, and because they're now being emulated on the Switch, so less people want them, you can actually get them for decent prices at the moment. But if there's one thing I know, that is Nintendo will eventually go, okay, the Switch is dead, and there's no way to access your N64 games unless you had them all saved or whatever anymore. So they will go up in price again. That's just how it goes. But they also, they're just good to collect. They're not overly expensive.
You reckon the Switch will disappear soon? I think it'll be. I mean, the next console is definitely going to be there, but I'm hoping that they just don't screw people over and just be like, well, everything from the Switch and down is not going to be supported anymore by the next console.
I think what they'll do is they'll leave it on for a while, but the Nintendo 64 portion of the Switch thing is actually tied to your Nintendo Online.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you don't have Nintendo Online, you can't access those games that you have for the N64 unless you purchase them individually. But the emulator itself, most people have that with the games that are there for paying for basically premium Nintendo. So, if they move to the next generation of console and they go, oh, we're shutting down the Switch service, then in theory you can't actually hold a Nintendo Online thing anymore, so you wouldn't be able to access those. Unless they make some changes there. And they did it they've done it in the past with the Wii shop and with the Wii U shop.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, and I'm always a hardware guy. Like, I have Steam and shit, like, because it is convenient, but, like, I'd still rather buy a hard copy of it if it's a game I really like. So.
I don't know. I think that, like, things like the Steam Deck and, like, the Switch with being able to port older stuff, I think that's going to be really...
Yeah.
It's a good thing. Like, I mean, I'm a person who's more like... I'd rather have one thing that does everything really well instead of just having the individual things. Because that would just clutter up my house.
Yeah, I mean, look at the shelf.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
But, I mean, it's just one of those things. But the other thing is, too... And I'm not a very good example of this, but you can see one back there. But they display really well. So, like, I've always wanted to get one of those glass Detolf cabinets from IKEA, or even one of the wider ones, and have the Game Boy Color on a stand with its roughly corresponding Nintendo 64 color on a stand. And a controller on the side as well. And just have it like boom, boom, boom with LEDs coming down. That's what I've always wanted to do. So... They look phenomenal. A lot of people got some really cool display ideas for them. And so real cool. Great.
Hashtag don't pour them in resin.
If I could turn any more red.
But it's to preserve them.
That's what kills me is when people are like, it's to preserve them. I'm like, bro, are you aware that an original Game Boy actually survived the Gulf War being bombed? They don't need preserving like that because you've actually ruined them. You've drowned innocent Game Boy colors, you fuck. It's doing fine being preserved on its own. Take the batteries out and keep it dust free and be fine for years.
Alright, we've done some of the pros here. We'll go down with the cons. And there's a few cons that could probably make or break your decision on collecting these, I think.
Yeah, for sure. You want me to get this one? Or would you
I'll take it. You mentioned a little bit earlier, your TV, you're gonna need like an old TV of some sort. So it will look weird what kind of a cable end is it again? Is it like
it's a standard AV cable. So
it's like the 3-prong
and yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. There's not a lot of TVs that still have that stuff anymore. Most of the modern TVs will have like HDMI and DisplayPort and stuff like that. They won't even have this anymore. So you're gonna have to buy like some sort of converter box or an upscaler or whatever to be able to play it on your modern system or your new TVs. So
yeah, and even when you do, it's not nice.
Yeah, it won't look good. It'll look stretched on the newer TVs because they're not meant for that scale,
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is too, it's older games are often very laggy when they're on the new TVs because the new TVs just aren't made with scan converters in them to process that.
Yeah.
like they'll look laggy. And the other thing is too, if you look at an old school TV with the scan lines on them, they actually really soften down pixel edges quite a lot.
Yeah.
So, like, even playing on the Switch and stuff, I actually prefer to play the original hardware because it looks nicer on my old school rear projection TV. The graphics are a lot softer and more rounded, and it just looks like a period piece, whereas playing on that, it looks really dated. So
Yeah, you can see the edges of the bits, basically.
Yeah, you can see the individual pixels, whereas, on an old school TV, it looks like a circle or whatever,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they sort of bleed into each other more.
Yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google CRT versus modern monitor for 16-bit graphics, and you'll see what we mean. But basically, there are some solutions for it. You can buy what's called an open source scan converter. It's about $200, and basically, well, it is a lot. But if you're collecting retro games in general, not just N64s, like if you have, all of them like I have, but you don't want to pick up an old TV or whatever, or you can't find one in your area, $200, you get a SCART cable for each of them, and they'll actually run. So you run a SCART cable, which is like the bigger one, into the open source scan converter, and that will actually do the processing that your television can't do, and will send it back to the television. It'll be virtually lag free. It'll have scan lines if you want them. You can dial it in for different consoles. So it's just you can make it work. There's just a bit of fucking around to do.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if you've gone all the way to collect more than one of the N64 consoles, you'll probably still have a really old TV around, or be able to pick one up.
Yeah,
they're getting very rare to find, but
I have one behind me. I don't know if you can see it, Obi.
Yeah,
It's very large. It weighs more than my Volkswagen.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, I remember having to fiddle around with those things, man. Like going behind the TV to just put the cable in and out because something wasn't working, and it's like blowing in the port, and you feel the heat of the lamp behind. It's like, oh my god, my face is burning. I've been playing this thing for 5 hours. My face.
Enough gamma radiation to turn you into a Hulk.
Yeah, exactly.
A really good idea if you do have sort of the situation I have where you have an old TV and you have a heap of old consoles. Go on eBay, they're quite cheap. Get a multi-AV selector box. Because all you do then is you run your cables, so your white, yellow, and red, from the input to the back of this box, and then you run all of your consoles into the back of this box as well. And whatever one you want to play, you just press a button on the front, and it goes clonk and connects over. It's got a really satisfying click as well. And you don't need to fiddle around with the cables. Like, the most you'll have to do is fiddle around with it on your console, but you have to get behind the TV and turn to the Hulk to do it, so...
Yeah.
It was like $15 for an 8-1.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty fucking solid.
Yeah. I had one for switching between the old VCR and my PlayStation 2. Or
there you go.
PlayStation 1 even.
So another con is, as we mentioned earlier... the controllers, man.
No.
They're fucking weird. And not only that, like if you got soft baby boy hands, the joysticks don't actually have rubber on them. They are a plastic knob with ridges on them.
Oh, yeah.
And let me tell you, some of those games, they require repeated rotating of them. I have literally torn holes in my hands.
Blisters, man. Blisters.
Yeah, man. So what I have done in the past is I actually get a piece of Band-Aid, like Elastoplast, and I'll actually stretch that over the controller. It leaves a bit of residue, but it gives you a bit of traction. Doesn't tear you up as much. But the other thing is too, there's third-party controllers that are better thought out. Hori made one. It's what they call the Hori, Hori.
Excuse me?
Okay.
Oh.
But basically, they made one called the Mini Pad. And it feels more modern. It's basically got 2 control grips with more of a circular face. And I think it's even got rubber. So you're pretty spoiled on the left side there on the stick. But those are pretty hard to come by now, like an original one. You will see them here and there if you're looking, but if you don't know what they are, they just look like the Starship Enterprise. You're like, huh? But there's such a good design that there's now third-party designs of the Hori control for the N64.
Okay.
So they're about $30. So if you bust a controller and you're not concerned with authenticity, or you just want good ones for you to play on and you want other ones for display, pick one of those fuckers up, man. For real.
Mm-hmm.
You won't regret it.
Cool. The next one is the games itself come loaded on cartridges. So, the old classic technique of pulling them out, blowing in them, putting it back in. It's probably not the correct way to do it, but it's not. May be helpful in that situation right now. To properly clean them, you're gonna have to disassemble them and get some IPA alcohol on it and clean it off the proper way.
Every time I see someone blow into a cartridge, I get another grey hair. It's fucking rough. Now, the reason why blowing on them actually does work, and I'm sure you understand this, Obi, is there's copper connector pins on the bottom of the cartridge. And sometimes that spit is the extra conductivity it needed to send the signal. Right? What I do, I keep isopropyl alcohol or just a bottle of icicle, like rubbing alcohol, near my games usually, and a bunch of cotton swabs, like for your ears.
Yeah.
And good practice before you fucking put a cartridge in. Just give it a clean. Just quick little bit of, just a bit of wetness from it on the isopropyl on the cotton bud, and just give it a run past. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an addendum to that, Obi?
Just a spritz.
Yeah, a spritz, right. You had your hand up. I was like, yes, sir, you may speak. But yeah, like, you don't even need to spray it on the actual game. Just spray the little cotton bud, just give it a rub. That will actually protect the pins of your console because you're not putting dirt onto them.
Yeah.
And if your console's the problem, if your receiver is the problem, a trick that I do is I actually get an old, like, not a credit card, but like a plastic card, like that. And I wrap a cloth over it, like blue roll cloth, and I wet that with isopropyl, and I insert it a bunch of times, like it's a game cartridge. And that will often, that's right, I insert vigorously, very moistly. But that will often help clear the issue as well. So, but basically, if you don't know how to deal with cartridges, they can be very fucking finicky.
Yeah,
very finicky.
Definitely. Do they have batteries in them too, the cartridges?
Most don't. I'm sure there's probably an example or two where they do, but they don't generally. I think they have that weird thing that like the PlayStation memory cards have. Actually, no. You can actually, some of them probably do, but you can actually get save things that go in the back of your controller, so you can take your save profile to your friend's place. It's like a removable memory card.
Oh, okay.
Just quickly, we haven't gone in the notes, but I'm just going to run through some shit. So, the RAM on the N64 wasn't enough for some games. So, they actually issued games with what's called an expansion pack, which A, helped the graphics, and B, gave them more RAM. So, Donkey Kong 64, I think Perfect Dark Zero, and a couple of others, they had to have this expansion pack to be played. And it goes in like this weird little trapdoor slot. So that's one weird thing. The other thing is you could have what's called a rumble pack in the back of your controller. So this was before DualShock. Shit. And basically this plugged into the back of your controller and that was your vibration. So you're playing GoldenEye and you're pretty crazy. And the other one is, like I said, removable memory cards from the controller.
That's cool.
Sorry, I just thought of those.
Very cool.
So the other con is some of these early 3D games, man, they have aged very fucking harshly. Very harshly. And some of them are better just left in the past of your mind with those rose-tinted memories. You know, like, it depends how precious they are to you, but, like, you look back at some of them and you're like, whoa, this isn't how I remember them. But they were harsh, man. 16-bit graphic games tend to age a lot better, I find. It's a more timeless art style. Those early 3D ones, fucking rough.
Yeah.
So, not all, but some. So, just something to consider before jumping in on them. Like, GoldenEye looks fucked. It's still cool, I'll still play it. Anyone wants to fucking verse me at GoldenEye, you come on over. Pizza's on me.
Yeah. I think I played GoldenEye as well. I don't remember. It's so long.
There was a paintball cheat you could do against your friends, and everything would just get covered in like neon paintballs. It was wild, dude. Absolutely wild times. But, you know, so I think that's about it for the negatives to it, to be honest. There's, like, it's one of those things. If you're into retro game collecting, get a fucking N64. If you're not into retro game collecting, wait for our Warhammer episode. You know, but yeah, there are, as I said earlier, a shitload of fucking great games for this console. Undeniably great. Not just great according to me who played them, great according to general consensus of the internet as well. So, we're going to run you through a few.
Yeah.
Obi, would you like to hit it?
Oh yeah, definitely. One that's probably on most people's minds is Super Mario 64. Super Mario is well known. And it was a game-changing 3D platformer.
Yeah, so before that, we had 2D platformers.
Yeah.
No one had cracked it the way they did. And when that game came out, people's brains fucking popped, man.
Was Spyro also one of those games?
It was, but Super Mario 3D Super Mario 64 actually predates Spyro by a fair bit.
Okay.
Yeah, like I think I'll have a look, but let's have a gaze. Another good one is Banjo-Kazooie. It's kind of like Mario. Like, like the aforementioned Mario 64. But with more bears and birds. Basically. Yeah. So basically you're a big fluffy fucking bear that goes around collecting jigsaw pieces trying to defeat a witch, as far as I remember. And there's a bird in your backpack that helps you peck things. It's wild. So Mario released in 1996. 1998 for the original Spyro. So 2 whole years. 2 whole years. Which, it doesn't sound like much, but in the gaming climate of the 90s, that was a fucking arms race, man.
Yeah.
You know? So,
cool.
Yeah.
Next one, the famed Mario Kart 64. His classic for ruining friendships. Oh my lord.
Exactly, dude. I know you probably never played this too much, but Mario Kart even now, if you play with your friends.
No, I don't think I've actually played it at all, to be honest.
Oh, have you got a Switch?
No.
Okay, well if you get one, get the new Mario Kart and tell me your relationship is the same with the people you play with. Another one of my fucking favourites, fuck what people say, is Donkey Kong 64. It's another 3D platformer, but you're the Donkey Kong crew. There's more big old Kongs in this one. There's Donkey Kong Rap, and there's Bananas, and they all have guns that shoot like different types of fruits and nuts. Diddy Kong has like magnums that shoot peanuts. Donkey Kong has a bazooka that shoots fucking he has a rifle that shoots coconuts. Chunky Kong has a fucking thing that shoots pineapples. It goes all doom. Real cool. Great game. And it's fairly open level for it is like you sort of just go everywhere, complete stuff, in whatever order you want, collect big bananas, and it's very fun. I still quote it to this day. So, like, Tara will be like, "You want to go somewhere?" I'm like, "Okay," you know.
Yeah. All right. F0X. I guess the X stands for 10. No.
No, it's just X. It's edgy.
Oh, edge. Okay. It's not a phase.
It's not a phase. They got the X from Hot Topic. Did you ever play Wipeout, Obi, on the PlayStation?
Yes, Wipeout I did play.
So Wipeout was inspired by F-Zero. But F-Zero is more fast-paced. So it's like you're in these hover cars and you're fucking hurrying along, getting speed-ups, and it's real cool. It's basically Nintendo's Wipeout. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool to get a similarity.
So, pretty cool game.
Yeah.
Pretty cool game. Yeah, the next one, and this is not up for debate, according to most people, it is Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Anywhere you look on the internet, these games are universally praised and universally adored. Have they aged well? In some respects, no. But the core things that they did in those games, the way they open up the world for adventures and stuff, that was unheard of at the time. And all these open world games we play now, we owe a lot of that to these games. They were true milestones. So, yeah.
Cool. Pokemon Stadium. Well, it's Pokemon, duh, but you're doing it in a stadium form.
Yeah. What more do you need to know? You throw Pokeballs, you blast people in 3D. It's badass.
Hell yeah.
The other one is GoldenEye, which is basically the earliest way to really, really, really learn hatred towards your friends. like, okay, yeah, Mario Kart's a thing, but GoldenEye, man, I think I nearly strangled my best friend Mikey with a cord. Like, I was ready to go, you know? I was 8 and ready for prison. But basically, it's a very early example of a console first-person shooter. Now, bear in mind, it didn't have dual analog sticks. It had one. So all the jank that comes with that is part of the skill set.
Yep.
It's rough, but it deserves its crown.
Didn't the PlayStation 1 controller still have like one joystick?
No, so the PlayStation controller started out with a D-pad and 4 face buttons and the bumpers, and then it went to the DualShock where it got 2 analog sticks.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So, and they've stuck to that design since.
Yeah.
So,
it works.
It does.
Cool. The Pokemon Snap game. It's a shooter, but instead of killing the Pokemon, you're photographing them.
Yeah, so if you've ever been to an arcade and played like the Jurassic Park game where all the dinosaurs are chasing you and you're shooting at them, or the alien ones, that sort of thing, where you're not in control of your movement, only you're aiming. Yeah?
Ah, okay.
That's what's called a rail shooter, and that's what Pokemon Snap is, but instead of murdering Pokemon like a fucking monster, you're a photographer. You're taking photos of them. Trying to get the moment where the Magikarp jumps into the fucking waterfall just before it turns into a Gyarados and stuff like that. That's the whole point of it. This is back in the days when we only had like 150, alright? So it's not such a big deal.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. The other one is Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Now, it's a pod racing game. And if you've watched Star Wars Episode 1, all you need to know is, now that's pod racing! That's all you need to know. But it's a very fast game. Sort of like F-Zero, but Star Wars. And you always need Star Wars. They had quite a few good Star Wars games, actually. There was that one, there was Rogue Squadron. And there's another one that I can't remember the name of, but it was like an FPS, I believe, in Star Wars.
It's not Battlefront. No, that was too.
No, well before that.
Hmm.
Hold up, I'm just looking it up now.
Cool. I'll take the next one while you're doing that. The Mario Party game. Yeah, it's a multiplayer party game with, well, you guessed it, Mario. And other famous characters like maybe Luigi.
Yeah, exactly.
What about Bowser?
Basically all those cool cats are there, Peach, all those guys. It's just party games. So it's called Shadows of the Empire, and it's a third-person shooter. And once again, the graphics haven't aged too well, but back in the day, you wanted to fucking blast the stormtroopers. That's how you did it. Yeah. PlayStation didn't have that shit,
They did.
So yeah.
Battlefront.
Shut up. Shut up.
Oh man,
Battlefront was PlayStation 2, alright? Don't even start.
Yeah, so? It's on Steam too, and we've played it together a couple of times.
We have.
Oh, good old days.
If it wasn't for that graphic glitch, I would have fucked you guys up.
Get some, bitch.
But yeah, so basically, in summary, I have a lot of love for the N64. I understand its shortcomings, but I think that if you're going to collect a Nintendo console for something other than just the good game library, the N64 is the one, because of all of its cool different variants. Like, once you own a Super Nintendo, you collect the 3 regions it has, and then you're done. Then it's just games. But with an N64, you chase that, oh, I found this color, I found this one. Like, the amount of excitement I had when I found my gold one, I think I fucking, nearly vomited up a fucking pancreas or something, I don't know. I was like, it's cool. So, there is the dopamine hit there for you. So, yeah, I don't know. Collect them, or don't. But if you do collect them, talk to me about it, because it's fun.
Yeah, it kind of shows the two different people that we are, to be honest, because you enjoy collecting these older consoles, and I'm like, it's outdated, gone with it.
You say that now, but what happened when we did the Game Boy Color?
Shit. That wasn't me browsing the whole episode for a Game Boy Color.
No, totally not. Exactly. Wait till we start talking games that you have nostalgia for, then you're in for real trouble. But yeah, cool, man. Obi, I've done a lot of talking. Mm-hmm. How about you talk?
Cool. I like talking. So, after we've done this main portion of the episode, we're gonna hop into the next section, which is our music section.
Actually, not many people know this, but the music section is our main section. The hobby podcast is just a front.
Yeah, basically, we actually wanted to be big in music reviewing. So yeah. Oh man, but yeah. So we've got you
what are we doing this week?
Yeah, this one we're reviewing a album that we've been waiting for what feels like ages. It's Pain Remains by Lorna Shore. Lorna Shore is a deathcore band who recently got a new singer, Will Ramos, and he's added so much to the band. So yeah.
It's a perfect storm with those guys. Like, they're great musicians, all of them. Unbelievable musicians. And then just having that, not only the vocal prowess that Will brings, but the star power as well. Like, his personality is huge. And that, I think, is what puts it over the edge.
Yeah, honestly, and it's not just that. Like, his writing skills for writing lyrics on top of everything. And that shows so much in this album. Like,
yeah, for sure.
It's got a theme across the whole album, basically, where he wants his main character to become he's intoxicated by this dream world, basically, and he's doing everything he can to return back to his dream state.
Is that what it's about?
Yeah, sort of like that. And
I knew the last 3 tracks were about that. I didn't know it went through most of the album. That's insane.
Yeah, and it kind of makes it a lot more sense across the whole album.
Yeah.
The opening track is like "Welcome Back, Oh Sleeping Dreamer." I mean, it kind of hints straight at the at the whole theme going across it.
I thought that was a personalized welcome to me.
Fair enough.
I am an oh sleepy dreamer.
Yeah. And, like, for example, track number 5, Soulless Existence, he talks about between the black and white, the phase of where you're actually sleeping and not sleeping.
Yeah.
So, and his way with words, man, like you said, the last 3 tracks, they are so magnificent. Like, my lord, it brought me to tears. I let my girlfriend listen to it. It brought her to tears when she read the lyrics. And it was just like, what is going on? This is a deathcore album. This is heavy as shit. And it has so much soul into it at the same time. This is unheard of for deathcore. And
those 3 tracks, especially the first one, is groundbreaking.
Yeah, definitely.
There's no way around it. And it's got a lot of people in the metal community speaking up about mental health as well.
Yeah.
Which I think is amazing.
Exactly. Yeah, and they've made music videos for most of the songs in the album. And I highly recommend you listen to Pain Remains trilogy. They have an edited version where they have the subtitles going simultaneously, which can be good for you because while Will Ramos is very good at pronunciating while he's screaming, some people will find it hard to understand what he's singing.
Oh yeah, and just how fast he sings too.
Yeah,
like even when he's pronouncing correctly, he's like very fast sometimes. So
yeah, exactly, and like you said, like the first track of that trilogy is Jesus Christ, the emotions it breaks up in you, dude. What is going on?
I'm not someone that gets brought to emotion by media like that often.
No.
And especially neither is my cousin who's in witness protection, but him and I were talking about it, man, and we both teared up at that song.
Yeah.
It's heavy, man.
Yeah.
Like emotionally heavy. And I think anyone that's lost someone that they care about will resonate with that.
Yeah.
To a big degree,
Exactly. And that theme stretches across those 3 songs, man. Like the first one is definitely like it feels like it's the different stages of grief, and then you go to anger and disappointment and in the end, like the person that this is about, he basically ends up killing himself at the end because he can't deal with the loss of losing his loved one. So it's so
it's interesting if you watch the videos, that's the meaning you get from it, because that's the narrative in the videos.
Yeah.
But the actual lyrics themselves have a slightly different narrative as well. So it's even cooler. Like, the lyrics are very much like you said about the dream state. So, like, when you wake up, obviously, if you fall in love with someone in your dream, it feels very vivid and stuff like that. When you wake up, for all intents and purposes, that person's just died.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but, like, I definitely did, because I have very vivid dreams where, like, you're just like, how the fuck do I get back to that dream? Like, it's almost distressing because you feel like you've spent years in this place and you know this person. And it's fucking hardcore, man. And so it's like, it's opened up a lot of discussion about, obviously, mental health because of the dark theme of the videos. It's got a lot of art to it because of the lyric, the way it's done, and then the music is done very well as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
Yeah. Like, and not even just the heavy parts. Like, it's heavy, it's deathcore, but it has, like, the symphonic parts with, like, orchestras and everything in there. And it's just the perfect blend of everything. And honestly, to me, I truly hope that this will set what will define deathcore for the years to come. Because I am a little bit tired of the deathcore that is just heavy to be heavy. And this is heavy with actual meaning behind the songs.
And purpose, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, like, music that can bring you to tears just by listening to it. Like, wow, dude, this album it's definitely, for me, it's the best things we've gotten this year, music wise. Yeah, I would.
We'll save that for a later episode. That big part. We need to have a conversation about that. We're doing an album of the year, guys.
Yeah, definitely. This is. I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. Like, sometimes there's like a little thingy that, like, it's not a perfect score for me, but it's sublime all the way through. There's no song that's a skip on this one. Well, to be honest, they're all bangers, all of them.
Yeah. I for me, from where I sit, all those points we just discussed, 100%. I'm not a deathcore guy. I'm just not. I like Fit for an Autopsy, and I love Lorna Shore. But I'm not much of a deathcore guy because of the whole heavy for the sake of heavy thing. I like shit with a bit of punch and a bit of, melody and emotion to it generally, even if that emotion is just heavy. But, generally speaking, I'm not a big deathcore guy. I'm more of a melodic death guy. But this album, man, fucking, it's the old one too. It's everything I want it to be. Even just, fucking Sun Eater, when we reviewed that, and that is on there. I love that song. I think, like, just the scream, the way he says, I'll eat the sun, it's like, it just feels raw, man. I love that. And the Pain Remains trilogy, man, they're a thing. It's just a thing. Well, the one thing I will say, for me, that puts it down a slight rung, is not that there's any bad tracks, there's no skips for sure, but it's very much... because it is deathcore, there's not a lot of texture between the sounds. You know what I mean? It's heavy, and then more heavy, and then more heavy, and then more heavy. And that's good. That's good if you want deathcore, like, that's fine. But, like, it can get a little samey-same. You know what I mean? But luckily, towards the end, those last 3 tracks are such juggernauts that it pulls it right the fuck up. Now, even if they didn't have those 3 tracks, this album would probably still be a pretty solid 7.5 for me. But with those 3 tracks, with how good they are, and the intro ones, providing I'm in the mood for Lord of Shore, which I am a lot lately. I would also give it a 9.5 goblins out of 10. So yeah, it is the business, the absolute business. And if you haven't listened to Lorna Shore, go do it.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing here? Put it on cue straight after this episode. Go.
Yeah, it's gonna end up in the playlist straight away. But I'll just give you a taste of one of the lyrics in the songs, which is probably my favorite one to sing along to. Is I'll salt the earth in the crimson blaze. The world will burn in my fall from grace. Witness the death of God, hear the devil's choir. As I leave the stage in a sea of fire. Oh my lord, that's so good. And the way he just sings, the world will burn, like, so much anger behind that sentence that I don't give a shit anymore. I just want it to end, basically. Oh Jesus
Man,
Christ.
the one for me, like the verse that gets me, that 100% is like the tearjerker in Pain Remains 1, is towards the end. It's like, a wrinkle in time, take what's left of my life before you go, show me what it's like to finally know, the face behind the silhouette in this world I made to be infinite. And this is like him building up his scream.
Yeah.
And it's like, but within the expanse, I finally see it, and then the music drops out, and he just goes, "A world without you is not meant for me." And like, it sounds so heartfelt, man. That just wrecked me.
Yeah, straight off. Straight up.
You know, and, man.
And just the way how he says a couple of things more that he's what will I do with what will I do without you, and then it just goes into the second song straight away, bang up hard, and I'll disappear straight away. It's like just the follow up of the two songs into each other is like, oh my lord, this is a masterpiece.
it is.
Oh,
it's fucking wonderful, man.
Yeah. So highly recommend listen to this one. Even if you're not a deathcore fan, listen to the last 3 songs then, and you'll get sucked straight in.
Yeah, and if you can't understand the lyrics, even if you don't like it, just throw a lyric video on, just to absorb it.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like there's something there for everybody if you can actually understand the lyrics.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good song to help somebody deal with pain and like you said, somebody losing somebody. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
cool.
Sweet. Now quickly, I'm just going to do a little shout out here. My dear friends Reb and Chris, they actually own a business out at Eat Street in Brizzy, which is like a cool food market. It's called the Super Shop. Now, if you live in Brisbane, go there and buy their fucking Greek food and tell them we sent you. Just say g'day, because they're fucking good people. Small businesses are struggling at the moment. Everyone knows that. The economy's a bit shit. So if you're thinking about going, or you're a bit on the fence, or you're just not aware of it, go down there. They'll look after you. They're great people, and they'll hook you up with good food. I just, had to get that out there from my homies.
Very cool. Besides that...
Not sponsored, by the way. Genuine just shout out.
Yeah, exactly.
You know who we are sponsored by, though, Obi? Our patrons.
Oh, yes. Yes, we are. Definitely. If you would like to join Patreon, there's a link in the description. Any kind of support, it helps us out tremendously. We've been doing a lot of things in the background for them, and we're very excited that some of the stuff is starting to land in our Patreons.
Oh, yeah.
Hands. They're little curly hands.
Yeah, man, exactly. You know, we bust our ass for this podcast, basically. Like I said, I've been up nearly 24 hours straight. I'm sunburnt like a lobster. I'm here because I fucking love you guys. And, you know, a little bit of money in the old bank account, so it doesn't have to come out of our pocket to make this podcast. It just makes us want to do it more. So we appreciate all of our patrons. And if you'd love to become one and help push the show forward, do it.
Hell yeah.
Hit us up. You can also join our Discord and such. Right? We have a pump in Discord, mostly featuring Obi, the lead singer of Korn. But nah, seriously, we're, not always, but most of the time there's people in there bumping on, hanging out, painting models.
Yeah, playing games, because Dark Tide's here.
Playing games. Dark Tide's out, exactly, nearly out, playing Gundam games that I can't play because I'm in fucking Australia. Apparently we don't matter.
Yep.
I think we also have a new patron, right?
We did? No, I don't think we did. But
no? Or is this an old note?
It was just because...
Or we just gotta shout him out.
Yeah, because he's just a stand-up guy. Big Fat Polly, you're a good guy. He also is Twitch streaming at the moment because of Dark Tide. So if you guys want to go follow him and listen to him talk shit, and you'll probably hear us drop in there every now and then.
That's what we do.
Definitely do it, because we're going to be playing with him.
Yeah. Also, quick shout out to Drunken. I don't know if I did it already. Did I tell you, everyone, that he bought me stuff? I don't remember.
No.
Basically, Drunken sent me a care package full of Christmas gifts. I got a Space Wolf pin. I got Bayard's Revenge from the Black Templars, which is like a limited edition model. He sent me a Game Boy Advance SP and a really fucking nice Christmas card.
Yeah.
Drunken, you lorry smashing madman, we fucking love you, man.
Yeah. He did the same to me.
Son of a bitch.
Like,
impose government sanctions on this cunt.
like I bought one model from him, and he sent me 4 in the total. It's like, well, what am I supposed? Oh my! I can't deal with this kindness. He's just too nice.
Wait till I send you an N64.
Okay. Talking about Drunken, he is also the sponsor of our Orc giveaway, which we kind of might have forgotten to give away last time. So we're quickly gonna do that.
I'm so not across this, eh?
Yeah, how did we forget?
I'm gonna let you handle it.
Okay, yeah. So I've written down the names for the people who all commented in the October is Here channel. So
am I doing a number generator?
Yes, we are. I got it.
Up. How many entries do we need?
We have 11 people entering, so 1 to 11. In no particular order. Well, in order.
Alright, you gonna do it? I think I pressed go. Alright, so the number drawn is 2.
Number 2,
Who's
that
number
is
2?
Saxtus. That's one of my Swedish guildmates from Tacticus.
Oh, well, would you like to give it to him?
I'll
Is that how
send
this
him.
works?
I'll send him a message and see if he wants it or not. Cool.
Yeah. By the way, guys, I know we're really disorganized, but you just gotta know we don't plan this shit. We just have fun.
Well, there's a little bit of planning. It's just that sometimes things slip through.
Sometimes Blake plans them after a shift at work and is barely awake.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys very much for joining us today. It's always fun hanging out with you, Obi, and with our listeners. And yeah, until next time, crank that fucking air.
We'll slay that grey.
We are
the Knights of the Hobbit table. Birching!
See you guys.
Goodbye.